Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to yet another episode of The Con Life here at KaijuPaladinGabriel 2018 at Meadowview Convention Center in Kingsport, Tennessee. And as always, I am Nathan Hamilton, and sitting with me we have
Michael Cook.
Okay, Michael Cook. So Michael Cook is a vendor here who has been showing me his wares. As you can see, there's a whole smorgasbord of awesomeness behind me, and he came here and he showed off some of his artwork and some of his handiwork here, and it has absolutely blown me away. And before we get to the good stuff, I'm not going to say this is the boring stuff, but let's get to the details of you. So how long have you been designing and creating wares like this?
Oh wow! I mean, I've been drawing and just building stuff for as long as I can remember, as long as I could hold a pencil. But as far as actual work and costuming, I actually started after I attended the Savannah College of Art and Design in Savannah, Georgia. I actually have a degree in comic books.
Oh,
but and so I have
you.
worked in the comic field as an illustrator, but it led directly into a lot of costuming work, and I've been doing that since about 2001.
Wow. So you've been doing this since 2000, doing effectively this since 2001. And how long have you been presenting at conventions?
For almost that length
same
of
amount of
time.
time?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
before I went, just as an attendee, wearing the costumes and everything like that.
Yeah, yeah.
But then I started actually being a vendor at smaller conventions. I've been a presenter at Dragon Con in Atlanta, Georgia, since 2005. So.
Man. So Dragon Con is where you sort of made a big, your big splash to start out with, and got people talking.
Yeah, I did a lot of stuff with a costuming and Tolkien track there, because a lot of my stuff is fantasy inspired, Lord of the Rings inspired stuff. So
of course,
got into a lot of that.
So, I've been. I personally, I saw your yesterday. This man came by. If we have pictures, if there's a picture of it, I'll probably put it up on screen. Man came by, dressed as Master Chief. You were dressed as was that Master Chief, or was that a custom
it was
one?
Technically just another Spartan, but it had a lot of stuff that looked like Master Chief, and it's the same color, so I can understand the mistake. But yeah.
So yeah, he came by, and and that was actually where this all started. Where I started talking with him and started making and hopefully this can lead to something in the future, because I'm sorry, I just can't stop staring. I'm just lost and I can't help myself. I just see this stuff and I'm floored that somebody is talented enough to not only make it, but make it practical enough to where it's just my friend, your handiwork is like second to none. I have not seen this level of detail and this level of commitment. And right before we get to this, the last series of questions I'm going to ask is con experiences. What is probably your favorite convention moment or experience that you've had in all of your years going or presenting? What's one that really sticks out to you?
Oh wow! One of the things that I really enjoy about costuming, and this comes from my comic book and storytelling background, actually. I always think that a costume, whatever costume you make, tells a story.
Yes.
Whether it's an original costume or a character that you love, you are trying to tell a story by putting this character on. And that's my entire approach to costuming. What I love, one of the best moments is when I was a vendor. I mean, I've done Ren fairs and comic conventions and everything like that. But when a person puts on a costume and their entire aspect changes. They might come in, they're just wearing t-shirt and jeans. They're a regular guy like all of us. But once they put on this suit of armor, they feel different. They feel powerful. They feel like this character. They feel like they can fight monsters.
Yeah.
And to see that transformation across their face, they stand a little taller. I mean, it's a great experience. If you've never had the chance to experience that, to actually see someone transform before your eyes like that because of something you made, it's incredible.
Oh man, Okay. I'm not as talented as you are in any way. Like I'm just the dude who sets up cameras and pushes buttons and everything like that. I've not had an experience where the level of immersion has gone this far. But in terms of we do green screen photography and videography in some of the conventions we go to, and actually I've had a few kids want to live out a fantasy on the green screen, and not only were we able to make it a reality for them, but we didn't meet their expectations. We exceeded it in a lot of ways.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
It's high. It's a high, really. I mean, it's just like this is something I wish to achieve, because it's not just me who's getting enjoyment out of it. It's others as well.
Yeah.
It's another person living the dream, effectively living the dream that, hey, I'm on a battlefield, or I'm Thanos and I'm like raining destruction down, or and that's the beautiful thing. I love seeing that and I know where you're coming from with that in some aspect. Although, I mean, okay, enough. This jibber jabber talky talk stuff. Let's get to some examples here. If you wish to pull up some of your handiwork here, we'll
first one. Okay.
So what we have is let's see. There it is. Okay, yeah. So this right here, okay. So the level of, so this detail right here on this is amazing. I mean, so what's the main inspiration behind this one? I see this is the world, effectively like the world serpent.
Exactly, it's Jormungandr.
Yes.
I'm a big fan of Vikings. I love the Viking Age. The Norsemen were incredible in their exploration, their technology, their culture. Mm-hmm. I'm a big fan of Vikings, and I'm a big history buff too. I've done actually a lot of medieval reenactment. That's actually one of the things that got me into costuming first. Is I've done stuff with the SCA. I've done a lot of stuff with LARP groups. I'm a big fan of history. I've studied martial arts, both European, and there are lots of European martial arts, as well as Eastern martial arts. I've taught martial arts. I've taught how to use swords and weapons and everything. And so this is an actual Viking shield made like how Viking shields were generally made. Now, I don't have the wooden planks, but Viking shields were really this thin, really lightweight, really mobile. It's got the center grip, which makes it very, very functional. And all I did was just embellish that design with pretty pictures.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, the leather here, the aging that you did on the leather, is that you did?
Yes.
Okay.
This is the leather I actually had to soak and put it around as a band. People used, the Vikings used rawhide, leather, cloth, whatever. It's to keep the edge from splitting.
Yeah.
And I just aged it up by dyeing it and then rubbing it with steel wool.
Man.
And it gives that kind of aged, kind of salted appearance, like what would have when you have these on the sides of the Viking ships and everything.
Man, and of course, Jormungandr. Have you played the new God of War game?
Yes.
I love Letter to Norse Mythology. And
I work with a couple of other people at Playable Characters. I can't do all this stuff alone.
Oh yeah.
I do a lot of the leather work and everything, but we have a great foam worker and a great painter. I work with Joseph Neesmith and Rene Esemann. And I couldn't do this without them. Yeah, so and you'll see some of their work here too. It's
and don't worry, we will mark everything down in the description for anyone out there who is interested in seeing or potentially buying this material, and just it'll all be down there in the description, and you'll probably see it up on screen somewhere above our heads or below us, wherever. I mean, it's really no saying at this point. But honestly, this is the first item. This is the first item, and look at this. This is just beautiful. How long did this take to make?
This one took about 6 days.
6 days?
Yeah.
And the dome's right here, is that
that's the part. Yeah, that's the part that took the longest as far as dishing that out. It's like I have a wooden stump that has a kind of concave area. And then I basically put the mild steel in there. Really, this is just like a 14-gauge sheet from a steel worker.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just a sheet sheet of steel.
Man.
And then I actually had to use a rawhide hammer to pound that into shape, and then planish it and sand it. And I left some of the hammer marks in and put some new ones in to kind of give it that effect.
Yeah.
And then I blued it, like for guns and stuff like that to make it more rust resistant.
Yeah. Gosh, dude. And I'm still floored by this, and this is just the first item, and we still have a multitude of things to go through. So would you say okay, let me get my brain working properly. Come on, Nate, reel it back in. I know you're gushing, but come on. Okay, so you and your team when they build these things. The market that you have in mind, you have it for strictly conventions, or do you also build for like film sets, LARPing and stuff like that? Exactly. So your convention, like you said, you've been presenting at conventions for a long time, and you primarily, like, I'm seeing a primary focus here with a lot of Tolkien inspired and also Norse inspired.
Yeah, lots of medieval kind of fantasy type stuff.
Yeah.
That's where we really started, and that's where our hearts still are. Although, obviously, from what you saw yesterday, I do a lot of sci-fi stuff now too.
Yeah.
Just because foam is relatively new to me. Joseph has a lot more experience with foam, but we are starting to branch out into other genres. But in a lot of ways, our hearts are still here.
Yeah.
So kind of historical, mythic, fantasy, medieval type of stuff.
Yeah. I'm still floored by all this, dude. And so that's the shield right there. Let's get one more good look at it. Just Jormungandr staring along, and also that dome there is just awesome, and also the little indentations you put in it are really, really cool.
Thank you.
And all right, let's see what else we can get on the table. So, I spy with my little eye a warhammer. Let's look at that.
This one is definitely more fantasy inspired. This one is Joseph's work, and Rene did the paint finishes. She's our paint mistress, so she does a lot of the finishing work.
Yeah.
Puts in all the details, puts in the weathering and everything like that. But this one is definitely a fantasy hammer. There wasn't any historical weapon like this, but it's great for orcs, dwarves, that sort of thing.
Well, of course, you also have the Celtic knot and everything. You also have the battle damage too. The battle damage looks really good.
Yeah.
And little indentations, like do that with like a little Dremel tool, or
actually we use Dremels, wood burners.
Yeah.
Basically anything that will make the mark that we want.
Oh man.
And we use things for purposes they were never intended for.
Hey, but that's the artist coming out in you, man.
Yep.
Unconventional. Well, being unconventional at a convention, talking about being at a convention. It's so and I'm also seeing here all of the different parts as well. This right here, this wrap, that's leather, I feel, and. Also, these rings, instead of being steel, are they're foam.
They're actually foam, yeah.
And they have a worn look to them and a worn feel as well. I wish they had feel-o-vision so you could actually like feel how worn these are, like right here, all the way, like and the wood here. Where is that from?
It's just a dowel rod from Home Depot. I mean,
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And you just converted that into
we just used it as a handle and finished it off, made it look nicer.
Man.
But all these little marks. This is what I'm talking about the story. It's like the kind of battles this thing has seen. It's like, imagine what caused that mark, what it hit to create that kind of damage on it.
Yeah.
How many wars has this thing seen?
Yeah, how many, and honestly as well, considering how worn it is, how many warlords have used it?
Exactly.
Is this a family heirloom? Has this been passed down generation to generation? Like when one warlord is too old, he finally passes it on to his child, and it's just like, son, this is the hammer I have used to keep our tribe safe. Use it as you will. And just
exactly.
I could the stories you can build just from looking at this stuff. It's just like the level of immersion. We actually talked earlier about how Miyazaki, his work on Dark Souls, and how he's able to just build a lore with so minimal exposition dumps, but instead you build the lore yourself. by going through it. And you could do that with this. Like everything that you're showing me here, everything that you all are doing, you can effectively build your own lore with it. And that's a beautiful thing. That's an awesome thing that you could be able to accomplish with this. I mean, you get one more good look at that. That is awesome. So yeah, look at that battle damage and everything. Oh man, thank you so much for coming by, man. This is just now. I'm not saying to end it or anything. I'm just like thank you. I can't. Oh, if Micah were here, he'd be flipping out. My buddy Micah. Hey Micah, you still enjoying your sabbatical? Because Mike is taking a break from the channel. He's taking a little bit of a sabbatical, and he's not. And I bet you he's regretting it right now. He's not here. And okay, let's look at this. Let's look at this bow. So, yeah, let me. Look at the. Okay. Now I know what you think you're seeing, ladies and gentlemen. I think you think that you're seeing wood grain on there, and you would be right. But there's one issue with that. Would you mind telling us what material this is made out of?
This is from the plumbing section of Lowe's. This is a Schedule 40 PVC pipe.
It's PVC. Look at this.
You can kind of see it
Look at that.
up here. This is where it gives it away.
Right there, you can see the little details that just so having to give it away. But looking at it from its base all the way up, look at this. Look at that, and look at the leather work around the grip, and also the knock right there. Where
the arrow rest. Yeah.
So, hey, Walt, how you doing? How you doing, man? So, Walter Jones, everybody, Power Ranger, the former Black Power Ranger, awesome dude. Trying to get him on here too, see if he's
cool.
one. Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. Freaking love it. But yeah, if you, So, how long on average do one of these take to make?
I can pretty much crank 3 of these out in a day.
3? Oh my god. So we actually talked about this yesterday, like during a zombie apocalypse, if they ever, someone ran out of bullets or all the guns, went missing, you could effectively be the savior of humanity with these. And you could just, make, you'd have 1,000 Hawkeyes just, firing PVC, from PVC, PVC air, PVC
That's the thing,
bows
people
and everything.
don't realize this thing, it actually has about a 35 to 40 pound draw. It's a real working bow. You can actually shoot an arrow out of this thing.
So you see, ladies and gentlemen, this man could be the savior of humanity right here. I mean, a PVC bow that is not only real world ready, but not only con ready, but real world ready as well. So hey, if there's ever an apocalypse, I want to know where this man is so he can effectively give me a bow so I can at least fight back if I run out of bullets. Because a wise man once said, a gun can run out of bullets, whereas a good old fashioned knife has no limit. It never runs out of bullets. And look at these arrows too. Look at oh my gosh. Yeah, effectively, yeah. Look at the quiver. Yeah, the quiver is, as you said, it's a 3-point quiver.
It's a 3-point quiver.
Yeah.
When it joins up in the front, it's not just a strap that goes over one shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
It actually makes this kind of triangular harness.
Yeah, and look at the plate right there. Look at that detail. That's just awesome, man. I'm just.
It keeps the quiver from moving on your back, because if anyone who's done archery who just has a single strap quiver, sometimes since it's on the same axis of rotation as your shoulder, reaching back for an arrow, you have to keep reaching to grab one. This one stays put.
Yeah, it stays in the place you expect it to be. Yeah. So, actually, did Legolas have a 3-point one, or did he actually? He
actually did have a 3-point one.
Okay. Yeah. And also look at the arrows. What is the wood that these are made of?
Since these are just costume arrows, these again are just dowels from Lowe's. They're 5/8 I think 5/16" dowels from Lowe's.
Man.
Normally, when I make shooting arrows, I use either Sitka spruce or Port Orford cedar. Those are considered the best woods for arrows. I actually personally prefer Sitka spruce. These are just costume arrows. Now, they are fletched correctly, and these are self nocks that I cut in.
Yeah.
But I mean, from the top end, they just look like real medieval arrows. But the points, I just ground down those pencil top erasers to give it the look of a bodkin arrow.
Kids in school who know about these pencil top erasers. Yeah, that's pencil tops. Look at that. It's just.
Now, you don't want to go shooting these; they might still hurt people.
No.
But these make it con safe, and of course, I have it zip tied, so they're not coming apart.
Yeah, no danger there. Yeah. So how long does this quiver take to make? And,
it takes about 2 to 3 days.
2 to 3 days. Okay.
Yeah.
So this right here is this glued on here? Or is that painted on?
It's painted on. It's actually a stencil.
Okay.
What I did was I actually cover the thing with a painter's tape after I've done finishing it and everything.
Yeah.
And then I just use an X-Acto knife to cut out the design that I want, and then I just paint it.
Man.
So it's really simple actually, but it can make cool effects.
Very cool. And here's one thing about this, guys. Every time I look at these, I have the initial look of it and the initial see of it, and then I see things that I didn't notice, and just adds more and more to it every time I look at it. Down here, the little medallion you have down here, along with this pattern, just I saw it originally, but when I actually have time to look at everything and how it goes, it's just like, I can think it's exhaustive how deep you've gone with this, how deep you go with these things, and I'm still floored. Like every piece you show me, I keep getting more and more impressed and more giddy, and I'm just like, I can't help myself. It's just Well,
I always approach it from function first. I mean, you can make it aesthetically beautiful, but it has to work like what it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
And that comes from like the medieval reenactment stuff. I had to make equipment that works.
Yeah.
And so you can make it pretty afterwards, but it has to do what it's supposed to do first.
So and you're achieving your goal there, man. I mean, look, this stuff right here is unbelievable. Still, every time. And here we go. Zahedmut. Look at this thing. Look at this. Look at this thing. Okay. Yeah.
And this was made by our resident foam worker, Joseph.
Yeah.
And painted by Rene.
Gosh. And so this what is the material that you're using to make this?
Oh, it's just EVA foam.
EVA? Okay.
Yeah. If you look at it here, it's literally just those interlocking floor mats.
Yeah, we actually use those in our green screen. So that's what those. Wow. And I see that. So you can, and you all do custom design where it actually will fit anyone's head. So
exactly. Yeah.
Like for a pea head like my cousin, or like a jug head like me. I mean, it can fit any one of us. And also the little jewel you have up here. So is that one you got from like a store? Or
it's just like from a craft store like Michael's or something. It just they're easy to find. They're great embellishments.
Yeah.
I mean, lots of people are doing foam work these days. So.
Yeah, and also just the color scheme on here. The main inspiration behind this, I would say, because it's not Viking inspired, because contrary to popular belief, Vikings did not have horns on their helmets. Yeah. But so before you history buffs, wannabe history buffs out there say, well, that's not an aesthetically correct Viking helmet because it doesn't have the horns in the right place. No, they never had horns, dummy. Get it right. Come on.
Thank you.
So, this is I'd see a lot of Loki here.
Yeah. The color scheme and everything.
Yeah, the color scheme, the horns. Although these horns actually look a little bit more menacing than the domed one, like the dome horns that he had. Instead, this is sort of like how Hellboy's horns would be, effectively. Yeah. The little curve in them and everything. That's so awesome. I mean, just let me.
Here,
you go. So if you can. So look at that. And this is smooth too. And how long did this take to make?
Actually, I'm not sure how long this one took.
Okay.
3 days.
3 days? Yeah. Okay. So, and for those of you wondering who he's speaking with one of his partners over here who if you want to come on around, man, be part of this. So,
this is this gentleman's handiwork, along with Rena doing the painting.
Yeah. So. Brilliant work, my friend. Absolutely brilliant. That looks so good.
It was a lot of fun to make. I did actually thing the horns off of Hellboy.
Oh, really? Okay. So
I intended to turn them around with this point actually coming back, but the way that design looked best with the helmet, I changed around this side.
Well, yeah, effectively it makes
and
it.
It was going to make the helmet. It was going to make the piece way too tall. It was going to make the whole piece way too tall. The horns turned around on the helmet. They actually come up and be about this tall.
Oh,
and
man.
that was make it, I thought, that's going to be cumbersome for anybody trying to walk through and going through and around stuff. So
yeah, I understand, man. But in terms of the aesthetic, in terms of how it flows with the helmet, how it effectively is aerodynamic, it looks aerodynamic, and at the same time, it looks so intimidating. I mean, if someone were to walk towards me with that, I'd be all aboard the Nope train to get the hell out of here, Bill. Yeah, you'd never see me again, because that's so awesome. Like you said, you worked on this, and the painting was done by Rene.
Yeah.
And you said 3 days, and they do custom work and everything. And once again, I can't tag them enough. So if you want to see stuff like this, or if you want to buy stuff like this, links are always in the description to these pages and to where these awesome people work and everything. So yeah, I'm gonna keep doing that because I want to plug you all as much as I can because y'all are just awesome. Is there let's see what else we got back here. We got so you got the Swords. Oh, I remember this one. Unfortunately, we weren't able to show it yesterday, but here effectively is the sword. If you want to, glory shot that thing. There you go. Yeah, it's like Man at Arms up in here. All we need is that music that they use every single time they show. Like, no, but okay. And this right here, the main inspiration. This is a sort of a elven-inspired one?
Yes,
okay.
Very much a Lord of the Rings kind of elven-inspired sword.
Sort of a Orcrist length.
Kind of, yeah. Actually, it's a little bit longer.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, and this sword. Okay, yeah, and also interesting thing about this sword, the grip right here. Like you said, it's a hand and a half.
It's a hand and a half because it's got enough grip length to actually use two hands on it.
Mm-hmm. And it's just it. Also, okay, hold on. Let me stand up for this one, just to show I'm as amateur as I am at handling bladed weapons. I mean, I'm good with knives, but swords are another thing. But what we have here is a sword that is effectively perfectly balanced. Like if you want to show, because I don't trust myself. Yeah, so
it balances just in front of the guard.
Yeah, it like perfectly balanced at the hilt, so it's just like it's almost perfect for swing. And you put it out like this, and as you stated, the tip doesn't drop. The end of the sword. You said the end of the sword.
Yeah, the point doesn't want to dip. It's not front heavy where it wants to kind of fight you. Yeah, you've got complete control over its motion.
Yeah, it's just like so easy to work with. I just keep. And what is the blade made out of?
This one, since I use it a lot for demos and everything like that, I do work in steels. When I make blades, I use like L6. I use